Well, hello everybody. It's been a while. God bless y'all. I hope some people are watching this. I'm working on a reference for a painting I'm going to be starting soon. I've been waiting for some inspiration, and today I finally had a little bit of a inkling of what I wanted to do. This painting's going to be titled Shepherds Watch Their Flocks. I have no reference photo, so I'm working straight from imagination, and right now I'm drawing out my image. Just to give me a reference point to start the painting, I'm using a 2B pencil and just Strathmore drawing paper here, and nothing special. This is just the study for it. It's supposed to be when the angels appeared to the shepherds in the fields, and I just been trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I had several ideas that I worked on in my head, but I didn't feel led to draw them. Now, this is the way I usually work when I'm sketching out a reference. I do my for a portrait, I'll do my egg-shaped base drawing, I should say. Excuse me, pardon me. That's one of the reasons I haven't been drawing lately or painting. I've been sick with a sinus cold for 2 weeks. Plus, we just came off of Christmas and New Year's and a lot of family get-togethers, so I haven't been doing a lot of drawing or painting lately. But anyways, I'll do my elliptical egg shape for a head, and then I will pick my focal point of that drawing. But then again, I will draw my baseline or center line for the face, which goes roughly that. Okay. And then I'll do since the angle of the face is up and tilted, it's almost a 3/4 view. Well, it is technically a 3/4 view, but the image is pointing off that way. So most of my structure is running a plane, kind of an elliptical plane that way. Okay, so they all kind of go together. Then I've got my base circle here for that part of the face, which comes the upper lip around like so. All right. The eyes are usually equal distance apart. If you measure one eye, there should be approximately the same distance between the eyes. The turn of the face changes that. Your nostrils are normally right to almost the corner of the inside corner of the eye. Okay, as you notice here. On this image, I'm giving him a wider nose, being he's going to be an older man, not real old, but older. So I've given him a wider nose, a little more bulbous, and the overlap for the nostrils. He's got a slightly gaping mouth because he's looking up at the angels announcing the birth of Christ. So his mouth is going to be slightly open. He's most likely would be a Hebrew man, and he's out in the fields, so he's most likely not shaven. So I'm going to give him a beard. It's his night time, so it's going to be cool outside, so I'm giving him a hood for his cloak. Okay, and it's just the reference so far, and I'm gonna put in maybe a rope for to hold down the top. And I was thinking of maybe putting his hand up as like, whoa, I'm surprised, whoa. So I figured maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll even, maybe put a hand this way, like, oh, I can't believe this. This is awesome. Awesome news. Praise the Lord. But anyways, I just figured I'd do a little drawing, let you watch a little bit, and then upload it. And then maybe we'll continue on, just like my one other drawing. This, like I said, this is a 2B pencil, so it's rather soft. And most of my drawing, if I do a drawing, I start soft. I will draw in my reference lines for the base image, and then I'll just slowly start building my shadows and my shapes and shading in and creating definition to the drawing or the painting. I'm just fighting within myself, okay? I don't know if you'll understand this, but I'm fighting within myself lately of I don't want to be just a copy artist. I don't want always to have that reference photo. I know I have enough knowledge within me. There's just that self-fear of not being able to express what I'm seeing in my mind. Now, I've taken drawing classes in high school, obviously, and some drawing in college. Let's see. I took my base art classes at RIT and MCC, and I've been drawing portraits in that ever since I was a child. So it's not like it's foreign to me. I know the basic structure of the anatomy, and this is all good for someone who wants to learn. Now, if you're going to draw a portrait, obviously, of a famous person or someone you know, obviously, you want a reference photo to come from. You can use your projectors if you're afraid that you just won't get the shape and the detail right. But in this case, I don't need to worry about following that reference that closely, because there is no reference. Now, I'm trying to give him the appearance of some wrinkles coming down, and I'm working slowly to build this up. This is his cheekbone underneath this eye socket. So the eye is here. The eye is roughly about actually that large. So this would be the wrinkle of the skin coming down and then into the cheek. So that's your cheek. So you can erase some of these lines. It doesn't matter if some of your lines show at this point. It depends on how far you're going to take your reference. But basic skills in drawing really, really help. And I know I've argued this point, not truthfully argued, but I've gone back and forth with other artists talking about the ability to draw and paint. And a lot of people love to use their projectors, and I am one of them. I do love using my projector. But having the basic knowledge in the back of your mind to, this is, by the way, this is Electric Eraser by Sakura. Really good eraser, soft nib, and battery operated. So I'm just using this to clean up the outer edge of this eye, because there's going to be, it's reflected light from the angels appearing. So I want that to kind of stand out. And I'm taking the time to do all this for my drawing. don't really have to, but it makes sense in this case because of not having a reference photo to get everything the way I really want this to come. And what I'll do is I'll photograph this, and then I will use my projector to get it onto my canvas or board or whatever I'm going to use. All right, and doing all this, taking all this time shading and such will give me the ability to expound on this and really make it look lifelike and realistic, even though there is no reference. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating a contrast between the edge of this eye and the shadow back in here behind the face in that cloak. And same over here. The light is shining down from up, so you got the highlight over here. And then let's I'll tell you, my hands are getting shaky as I'm getting older. They've always had a little shake to them anyways, but they're getting worse. It all depends how long God wants to give me for drawing, being able to do this. But I hope I can bless others with knowledge of how to use art. Right now I'm kind of working back in some highlight into that corner. And this is another tool I use. Let's see if I can find it. I'm not going to make this a long video. I'll expound on it when I'm into my airbrushing. Oh, here it is. I can use my Mono Zero eraser in here. And I'm just going to erase in. I got it kind of chiseled a little bit. I'm going to erase into that. Okay. To get the fold of that eyelid. And then we've also got the corner of the eye that we're gonna work on here. And then this lower lid I want to open up over here to give it the look that it's really working like that. And then we got the shadow down underneath. Okay. It's looking a little better in that corner. But I kind of miss drawing. I don't draw a lot anymore as I've gotten older. And when my wife and I first met, I was just getting into airbrushing then. I had been doing it several years, but she always thought my drawing was much better than my painting abilities. And over the years, I've kind of worked on both. But I have to admit, I have let this slide. But as you can see here, the shape of this eyebrow, the eye socket, goes. The shape of his skull would follow here. The eye is floating in that socket, and then the shape of the skull is coming around here, and this would be the bridge of the nose and up into the other eye socket, rounding around right here. So that'll give you that shadow. And I tend to use the side of my pencil when I work in drawing. It's a technique I learned in college. Rather than using the point, you can use the point. It doesn't matter. It all depends on how quickly you want to fill in a shadow. And that was one of the techniques we learned in college for drawing, was to set up your basic structure, then draw the shapes of the shadow rather than drawing the actual lines in the face. You draw The image is made up of shadows and depth. There's no actual physical lines. So you're doing contrasting values against each other to create the shadows that create this image. Okay, and I'll show you a little trick. This is not meant to be a drawing course, but hey, why not? Let's back up. Let's back up that cart and horse and learn a little beyond just the airbrushing. It'll help you in the long run. Believe me, it will help. But you asked Drew Blair. Foundation of good drawing skills will enhance your final outcome in your drawing or in your paintings. It does. But by the way, God has blessed me even further. I have no cancer found in me at the last point when they checked me on my last scan. And over Christmas, yes, I've been bad boy. I ate too much and I allowed a lot more sugars than I should. And I was sitting on the couch the other day and I said to my wife, oh boy, I said, I probably have done a big no-no here and ate way too much sugar. My blood sugar's probably spiking way off the roof. And so I went and took my blood sugar. And praise the Lord, it was only 81. I was within almost perfect readings for blood sugar. So I'm still not showing diabetic signs, which is awesome. But enjoying this. I mean, this ain't a photograph. Ain't. I got real good college education. This is not meant to be photorealistic, but I'm just having fun, you know. Once in a while, just gotta change it up a little. Enjoy yourself. I've been also wasting a lot of time lately playing a video game. An old video game. If funny that the title is Kingdom Hearts. Got nothing to do with Christ. But I used to love playing that game when it first came out on PlayStation 2. The only reason I'm taking this much time into this, and I know I said it already, is just so I know when I go into that painting, I've got my values right, I've got my structure right, I can change some stuff when I'm going into it. Let's make his nose a little bit pointier, I think. And we're going to give him a little bit of a dip here. Okay. I think that's what we'll do in there. I haven't even figured on what I'm going to do in the beard and mustache yet. Plus I want to give him some bushier eyebrows. So that's probably wiggling. It's a dreary day, dreary winter day. Another thing that took up a lot of my time last year was I was having fun kayak fishing. And I didn't get out a lot. I wish I would have, but I'm bringing in that shadow beyond this. And I can work in some eyebrow hair. I want them kind of squiggly eyebrows, but I don't want to overpower the drawing. Just working in those shapes of the shadows. I can always go in and erase out. But you can see this is looking a lot more realistic. It's not perfect, but you would think that I took this from a photograph. And now I'm also paying attention to the shadows. The light source is coming down from here. So it's going to be brighter on this edge, and then the shadow's going to cast over here more. So. And over here it'd be quite dark. Those angels, I'm sure, are quite bright, because they're shining the glory of the Lord upon them, announcing Christ's birth. Let's It's a little easier on this to work with without the mono eraser. I don't want that so dark. This can't be that dark. Not on that side of the nose. So that's got to come in like so. And it's a little more realistic. And we're going to shadow this under. Okay. And then this in back, we can shadow this a little darker. That's the shadow of the cheek. Just working that value. With the 2B pencil, it's really soft. But now what you can do is, if you get to a point in something and you're stuck and you don't really know how to go about something, you can look at a reference photo and then kind of use it in your own. Now this light is going to reflect through here, so we can put a secondary reflection coming out the bottom of that pupil. Alright. It'll give that a more realistic round look, not a flat surface. Right. Like so. Then we can also lighten some of this up a little bit. He's going to have old, withered, or aged eyes, so this could probably even go a little darker under here. The shape of that eyelid coming around. Okay. I hope you're enjoying this. I haven't put up a video in a long time, but you know, what you gonna do? And don't sing when they come for you. Because they shouldn't be. You should be honoring the Lord and obeying the laws of the land, so long as they don't go against Let's see, do we want a couple wrinkles in here? Sure, why not? Something. He's going to have squint lines. He's out in the fields a lot. So, you probably have a lot more wrinkles coming in. These would turn, because that turn of the flesh right there coming up onto the nose. And I'm just lightly touching with this pencil. Let's shadow this a little bit higher up on that. Now, I got his nose looking a little pointy over here. It wouldn't be so pointy. Alright. Not on there. It could be, if you wanted it to. And we're gonna come out into this part of the robe and shadow that. That'll pick it up. There. It pushes that nose forward. And now, let's see. Let's drag some hairs off of here for his eyebrows. And I'm just gonna do real rough right now. Just kind of using the edge of that eraser. Being this is real soft lead on this paper, it's easy to smudge. I don't want fire eyebrows either, so we'll just kind of. What I could do is I could be putting my gloves on, but I don't want to dirty them up right now. Let's use this brush. This is another eraser. One of my friends on Facebook sent me a couple erasers off the forum. Not Facebook, it was on the airbrushing forum. I want to be a little more deliberate. I don't have to make these really intense. They're going to blend in a lot. So, just creating a little contrast for his eyebrows. Paying attention to how far I come, because they're going to be receding. I want him to kind of be receding a little bit, like he's lost a lot. With older men, their eyebrows kind of start going haywire. I don't know what it is. Mine have done it. I trim them. Shh. That's my secret to youth. Trim my eyebrows. My sister-in-law made fun of me the one time. She goes, "What are you doing? Trimming your eyebrows?" But she's the one that showed me how to do it, because I don't want them that high. So I'm going to put that back in. But they wouldn't be standing out a whole lot anyways. So we're just going to kind of shadow the underside of them a little bit. Something like that. And they would be raised because I'm sure those shepherds were quite surprised at what was happening. They probably didn't even understand what they were watching going on. For unto you this day in the town of Bethlehem is in the city of David is born Christ the Savior. You'll find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And the government shall be upon his shoulders. What a thing that must have been. It's like, what? What are you saying to me? This Messiah that we've been waiting for is born? This is joyous news. They said, go and tell the people the good news that the Lord has shared with you. All right, well, I'm not going to keep going too much more. I just thought I'd put a little something up so you could watch. Let's move this over a little. But there's my base drawing. I'm going to keep working on this until I get it completed. I want a completed drawing this time. And that way, when I go into my painting, it'll be more detail accurate and a lot more realistic. It won't just look like something I made up in my head. And this is truly an inspiration by the Lord, from the Lord, because I was unclear what I wanted to do. I had several ideas floating in my head, and then today this one just kind of popped up. I'm like, shepherds watch their flocks by night. And it's like, that's kind of a good idea to do for a painting, you know. And then I'll bless someone with it. Shh, don't tell them. I don't want them to know. Let's take one of these little moles that I made here. We're just gonna brighten up the top side of them. I don't want them to be too bright. The back side would be a little shadowed. They're darker colored, so I gotta figure out how I'm working in here. I'm also letting the fiber of the paper do some of my detail in here. Just lightly rubbing on the paper and the paper itself, the fibers help. Now back in here, this is gonna be a little darker because it recedes. So I don't want to obliterate it. And then over here, your brightest spot's going to be right here. And on the top of each of the wrinkles. Every one of my drawings tend to almost look the same. I don't know why. Obviously, it's because I'm drawing them. But we can change it up somehow once it comes to the painting. But I was trying to get more a Mediterranean look to this gentleman, this shepherd. And also give him that weathered look from being outside in the fields, watching over those sheep, taking care of the lost sheep. Of course, he's okay. Hope you enjoyed this little bit, and we'll continue on with it. This is, I would say, part one, but just a little drawing lesson and figuring out something I want to do for a painting. God bless. And keep working on your skills and enhancing that. And I pray the Lord will be with you each and every day as we tarry and wait for his return. God bless.